Hi everybody, I'm Marcos.
And I'm Kirsten.
And this is the Minnesota Real Estate Investing Podcast.
Join us every week as we discuss real estate investing in the land of 10,000 lakes.
All right, welcome everyone. This is our first show with a camera here. We're very excited because not only is our first show recording with a camera, but it's our first show with a guest. We have our guest star here, Miguel Lopez, multifamily expert.
I wouldn't call myself an expert, but thank you, Marcos and Kirsten, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited.
We're excited to have you.
We're excited
First
to have
guest.
you. Yes.
Yeah, we wanted Miguel to come on. He's our good friend and colleague, and we just want to hear his story and everything he's doing right now in real estate. So
Yeah. For everyone who hasn't
started.
Yeah, let's get started. And for everyone who hasn't seen it before, this is what I drink that's making noise all the time while we record. So
what is that, Marcos? It's a strange weed in there?
right? It's a South American type of tea. We drink it in Argentina, Uruguay, some other parts of South America too, like southern Brazil, but mostly Argentinians and Uruguayans were really big on this. It's called yerba mate, and yeah, you can get it anywhere. Amazon is where I get it here in the United States, even though it costs like 5 times more than in Argentina, but
Smells pretty good, man. I can tell why you're happy all the time.
right?
It's the weed.
It's the weed.
Oh, man. All right. Let's go, guys. Let's stay on
Let's focus
So-
here, okay.
focus.
So we
Okay.
know Miguel quite a bit. Here we're part of a group of investors, and kind of tell your story a little bit. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself, who are you, how you started, and your reason why you started too.
Yeah, what's your why?
I am glad to be here. It's actually the first podcast I do too. I'm not an expert either. It's just this is something that anybody can do with the right mindset and with the right goals. I guess what got me started in this is I was looking for my financial freedom. You know, I'm a family man. I have 3 kids, and I look for other things other than trading your time for money and working 24/7. You know, there's other ways, and I didn't know that until I met a friend, and he introduced me to investing in real estate, and I love that sense. Yeah, it's I think everybody should try it at one point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We agree.
we agree.
So how long ago did you get into real estate? Now, how many years?
My first exposure to real estate was back in 2019, I want to say. Somebody referred me to a book, which a lot of investors are familiar with it, the Purple Book, right? Rich Dad Poor Dad. And I read it. By the way, I was not a reader by any means. It was probably the second book I read in my entire life.
Cool.
And after that, you know, it was a mindset switch.
For sure.
It kind of like reset something on the brain and on my brain, and you know, just open up my vision. You know, it's like I was thinking so like closed minded. By mindset, what I mean is like when we're growing up, we are raised by our parents with a mindset from your parents, and your parents probably raised you different than what my parents raised me. And most middle income class or lower classes, broke people, what we call it, you know, people
Yeah.
that we have credit cards, we have debts, bad debts, we have a lot of liabilities, you know, we have emotions that drives us to buy what we call liabilities, and it's like a game that it never ends. You just keep burying yourself in debt, and when you look back, it's just like, oh my God, like I'm full of debt here, and
You're a slave.
I feel like I have nowhere to
You're
go.
depending on that next paycheck every month or every 2 weeks or however long it is. You need to, you're always chasing the money for rent, chasing the money to pay the credit card, to pay the cars, the house, the boats, whatever you have.
Yeah, and when you find out there's other ways, when you can buy assets to pay for your liabilities, for your luxuries, for your lifestyle, then it becomes more attractive, and it no longer becomes, oh my God, I want to buy the new Denali next year, or the new iPhone, the new iMac, whatever. Now it's like, I need to buy my next asset to buy me my next car, something like that.
Well, I always say something
that's
like
the mindset we have too.
But exactly, it's the mindset we have too, because for me it's extremely hard. Like, I haven't changed my phone since 2015 probably, or somewhere around that.
Yeah.
And that's
like why? It still works.
Exactly. I don't know why people would change the phone every year. And for me, I can't, like today, now I need to change it because it's going down and I need it for work, but it's really hard for me to spend. How much is a phone? I don't know. What sometimes you can get it for free, but then we just put on the contract a house worth $350,000. I have no problem dropping all my money into an asset that's gonna perform, and that's kind of the change that you're talking about.
Don't get me wrong. It's nice to buy the nice things, the new Yeezys, the new Jordans, but everything has a time, I think, and by delaying that gratification, if you feel more excited. To at least me, I feel more like there's like this feeling of like, okay, I got this done. I bought this asset. That was a huge success for me. Now I can go on and buy what I want.
So you read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yes.
Then that changed your mindset.
Yeah.
Then what was your first step? When did you decide to take action and do something in real estate?
Well, first of all, I felt like I was getting old. I was 27 then, and
that's hilarious.
I had 3 kids.
Yeah, I totally get that though. Yeah,
I have 3 kids, and that was mainly my drive. It's still my drive to this moment. But I already had that tickle, that mindset. What I need to do to start creating more income, to have the lifestyle I want. And that's when I turned into real estate. That's when I read the book. The book opened my eyes, gave me a 30-30 vision. And now I was like, okay, what's next? If this book is showing me, everything that I didn't know, one little book,
yeah,
I got to start reading more. so it became a good habit. I started reading more books, the book refers to other books. So that's where I started. The Richest Man in Babylon was a pretty good book.
I have to read that one.
Yeah, it changed my mindset again. How to Win Friends and Influence People. All these little books, they're not hard to read. They're pretty simple. I think anybody should read them at one point in their lives. And they impact you dramatically.
Yeah, I know.
So,
definitely.
Totally.
So after that, it was just mainly investing in myself. Was like, okay, I need to keep learning all this stuff. Yeah. A lot of YouTube videos. I found I connected with a local community here of investors, and I learned a lot there. I bought some courses, and I learned some targeted education on different areas, because as you know, real estate is huge. Fix and flips, multifamily. So at that point, my mindset was like, all I know is I want to invest in real estate, but what is real estate, right? And then when you start finding out that there's so many avenues that you can go, at that moment I was like, well, I think I want to flip houses, because that's where a lot of money is created. I'm Mexican, so I know a lot of contractors. That was one of the things my friend can do that. My cousin can do that. And so that was my initial intent. Then I learned more about multifamily, and that's when everything changed for me. I was like, I got to start investing in multifamily, because that's my why. It's more about creating wealth over time, and that's because, like I said, I'm a family man. I think my kids eventually are gonna take on. I hope my kids take the same route as I did, but I'm not gonna force it to them. But my daughter, she's 12 now, and she kind of she's interested on it.
And just by your example of having that financial intelligence, you'll just automatically pass that on to them because they see how you think, and then our thoughts, obviously, our children adopt them. So it's so good that you started young, because you did start young. You know, you feel old, but I totally get that. Like, we feel old too, like, because we have kids. Once you have kids, your whole mindset changes, and totally.
Yeah,
like,
all the things that you used to think about, they're just not there. Everything flips 180 degrees. It's just insane, and they motivate you to do things that you didn't think you were going to do.
Yeah.
Well, and it's never a bad time to start in real estate, really. You know, I hear so many people say, I wish I would know about real estate back in 2009 after the crash. I would have been a millionaire by now. It's like, well, why don't you start now? Yeah. You know, it's like there's different times, different cycles in the market. You can make money in any cycle. But, you know, I wish I would know about real estate like in 2009.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Me too.
So,
like, how old were we back then? We met.
I just graduated college in 2009. I could have easily,
buy at least one house.
I could have easily started then, you know, but when you think back about your life and you're just like, no way, there's no way I was going to do that. Like, my mindset was not there at all. There's no way. I wanted to go party. Like, no. It wasn't going to happen.
In our 20s, we were, even when we met, like when we were married, we were going out and partying. Every time I talk to someone, it's kind of funny that they say, reach that, poor dad. It's like introduction to everything. And then like you start going another podcast. And I'm not a person that reads either. I didn't read the book. I actually listened to the audiobook. So, because I read comics myself a lot, but it's hard for me to sit down and read. I read very slow. It takes me way too long. So with an audiobook, I have someone in my ear whispering it, and
whispering sweet nothings.
Especially you drive a lot. I mean, I
totally.
You know, So I do HVAC for a living. You guys know that. I do heating and cooling. I still have a job, and I'm driving all the time. So I used to listen to the radio. I don't listen to the radio anymore. It's just audibles and podcasts. It's
that's what we do.
You know, just feeding your mind and keep going. Because that's the main thing. Really, real estate is not hard. It's the knowledge, right? It's,
if you have the knowledge, then it becomes how to apply it. And it's like when you take that time, it's like during the day at least, your focus on that. It's kind of like it brings your energy to that level too. And you start, did you notice that you started surrounding yourself with people that do this more than anything else too? Like, how did that transition go too?
Yeah, it's, well, that's how I met you guys, right? Because after reading the book, it was like, okay, now you got to start going to meetups. Now you got to start going to seminars. Now you got to look for the people that are doing it, find a mentor, and apply what they're doing. You don't have to reinvent the wheel when you do this. It's not rocket science. You know, just follow what works. You know, it's exactly. And that's what's the beauty about real estate, right? I mean, there's different things, different markets, different cycles, but you just gotta be aware of all these things. But again, surrounding yourself with the right people, that's huge. So associations, networking, knowledge, money is a huge part too. But what a lot of people think is like, well, I don't have money, I can't invest in real estate, and that's probably the least. In my opinion, that's probably the least thinking, because there's so much money going around, so many investors looking where to put their money. But last year was huge for investors. You know, raising money was easy.
So but did you use all of your own money then, investing, like for down payments and all of that, or like have you used other people's money? Obviously, you have loans, right, on your properties.
So I purchased my first. The first real estate transaction, it was back in 2016, and it was very traditional. You know, it was our first home. You know, we had my son in 2016, and we were outgrowing our house, and we were renting then. And the transaction wasn't hard. We still live in the same house. I house hacked that house. I rent my basement out, so. I don't live there for free, but almost. It's very, very, very minimal.
You're reducing that mortgage that you have, and you're...
Exactly. So my tenant pays some of my mortgage, not all of it, but maybe the bills. So it makes it easier for me to save. So that's one thing about that. The Richest Man in Babylon. It explains how to save money. Little like simple concepts. What do they call them? Stupid simple.
Yeah, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, but we don't know it. We know them, but we're not aware of those things. These things are like they should have been taught when we were kids, right? But for some reason we're not aware of these things.
Yeah.
And one of the things that the richest man in Babylon says, like, well, you got to save 20% of your income. So that's how we started doing. Okay, honey, we got to tighten things up here. We're going to start saving money for our first down payment. So, yeah, that's what we did. We started saving. But it wasn't hard, really, because there's so many things that we overpay for that we're not aware of it. You can easily call your cable company and negotiate it. Negotiate your bill down because you're paying too much. Cut some channels, the ones that you don't use. I cut the cable.
We don't have cable.
Yeah, we cut the cable. We started streaming. What else did we do? We switch internet companies to save some money. We switch garbage companies.
Garbage companies
even the garbage.
It's
just
counts.
there is so many leaks in your bucket that you're not aware of that you can save so much money. And I mean, we weren't that crazy. We didn't cut the budget too tight. We were still, we have kids and the kids need to go out once in a while, restaurants and stuff. So we weren't that greedy on that end. But we did save a lot of money.
Nice.
And then we used that to put our first down payment on our first investment property.
Okay. So you have that first investment property. Where is it?
It was a fourplex in Minneapolis. Yeah.
Okay.
So around the George Floyd events, there was a lot of investors were cashing out their properties.
Yeah. Did you sell it?
I bought it there.
You bought it. Oh, so you bought it. Do you still have that fourplex?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and we don't know about that one. So I want to know about that one.
So
yeah.
I was looking for a fourplex then. This was last year.
Okay.
And I was already my mind was set to buy. I was already in real estate for a year. I wasn't an investor, but I learned a lot in a year.
Yeah.
I met a lot of people. I met a good friend of mine, Cecilia. She was a realtor. She's still a realtor
in California.
In California, yeah. And she was helping me with the listings. At one point, she gave me access to the MLS too, so it was pretty nice to have that. So I wasn't even in communication with her because I already had the access.
Yeah.
So I was any fourplexes that come my way, I'll just. I was targeting fourplexes that the sellers were the listing agent at that point.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to save in commissions. I didn't have an agent then, so I negotiated directly with the seller / realtor.
Nice.
And the listing came up the same day. I gave him a call. The guy was cashing out. He's moving. He was moving to Florida.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And
perfect timing for you to go in there and
dude, it was a perfect storm.
Yeah.
The rates were low.
Yeah.
I think I locked this thing up at 2.35, something like that.
Oh man.
My God.
Might have been 2.65.
That's amazing.
Wow. Yeah.
Still under 3. It's insane. Yeah.
FHA loans, so 3.5% down. It's crazy. I bought this thing with less than $20,000.
So what are you cash flowing on that? I'm curious.
It's about $1,300.
Oh, that's good.
13 to 15. It depends on the month and how the tenants behave, and there's sometimes things to repair. Last month I had to spend some money. I had to paint some doors and a little bit of the siding. I had a crazy homeless gal. She wasn't renting ahead, and she started spray painting and smashing the door in tenants' cars, with a hammer. So the fourplex is not in a great location. I would say it's a class C+.
Yeah.
It's right. If you guys are in Minneapolis, it's right on Lake Street. But I am very, very comfortable in that area.
Yeah.
There is a Spanish community there, a huge Spanish community, and I'm Hispanic. and that makes
Yeah.
it way easier. I think all the tenants I inherit, they were Spanish too, so
Oh.
it was a very easy transition.
Nice.
The seller let me help him with the so he
Yeah.
was doing a 1031 exchange.
Okay.
Mhm.
He was going to invest
Mhm.
the proceeds of the
In
sale
Florida.
in Florida. That 1031 exchange is a tax advantage for
Yeah.
investors strategy. You guys
Yeah.
can look it up, but yeah, it's pretty sweet. One of the things that real estate has, right? The tax advantage.
And that's one of the things about real estate too. It's not only about the investment, because you're talking about you have to spend money. You maybe are not cash flowing all that much, but then what happens is that either right now you're taking tax deductions towards even your salary, right?
Yeah.
With those investments that you have, and then once you sell it, what most people don't know is that when you sell real estate that you haven't lived in, at least 2 out of the last 5 years, you have to pay capital gains. That's where the 1031 exchange comes into play.
Just the fact that I knew what a 1031 exchange was, for him, was very simple to say, hey, you know what? We don't need a realtor involved here. Don't call, because I give him the option when I call him the same very day that he lists the property. I call him and say, hey, I'm not an investor. I'm not a real estate agent, but I'm an investor. I wasn't, but.
Yeah.
You were.
Well, yeah.
That's the thing. You have to call yourself an investor even when you're starting, because you're an investor here first, and then.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why don't you come and look at it now? It's like, well, I'm at work. I'm calling you during my lunch hour because I still have a job, right? And but I can be there as soon as I get out. He's like, yeah, come over, come look at it. I'll set up a showing for you and we'll talk about it.
Nice.
So I went and he showed me the property. It's a fourplex, beautiful fourplex, 10 bedrooms total. So it's
Oh, wow.
yeah, 2 units are 3 bedrooms and the other 2 are 2
Okay.
bedrooms. And
That's a nice size fourplex, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
the cherry on the top of the cake is the tenants pay their own utilities, right? So they had separate meters,
Nice.
electricity and gas.
Yeah.
So that's what I was starting. It was a perfect
Yeah.
asset for me.
Totally.
And so we looked at it. I say, done. Let's do it. I'll
Yeah.
pay for it. I was already pre-approved. I have my mortgage broker.
Good.
The letter. What do they call it?
The
Pre-approval
pre-approval
The
letter.
pre-approval letter.
Yeah.
And just send it to him. We signed the contract.
Nice.
We went out for dinner. And we signed a contract there.
Love it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was very nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you know, when you find what you want,
Yeah.
what you're looking for, you just know.
Yeah,
you just
100%.
know.
Yeah.
You feel you have the confidence to go through it and
Yep.
and sign the
Totally.
line. The line.
So how's that investment going today? Like, did you have to do any work on the units or?
Not major work, nothing inside the units, but just kind of prayed it up a little bit.
Okay. Simple stuff.
There was a little issues with the parking spaces on the back.
Mm.
There's no garage, so
Yeah.
there was no assigned spots.
Mm-hmm.
The parking spaces, it was dirt.
Oh.
There was no way to like paint the lines
Yeah.
or
Oh.
mark it. So I put a concrete parking space.
Okay.
It was about $12,000, but
Okay.
what they charged me
Yeah.
to do it. And then just paint the common areas, clean it up a little bit. Yeah.
Nice.
I do have a tenant that takes care of it.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I pay her every month, and I really don't have to go there unless
Yeah.
there's a major issue like there was last month.
That's awesome.
That's not. It's self-managed, basically.
It's pretty much self-managed. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, the yard is not huge, so I
Yeah.
don't have to
Yeah.
mow anything. And
Nice.
the maintenance are very, very little. There's not much to
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have that one. Then what was after that, what was your next move?
Well, I wanted to keep buying, but because the rates were so low at that point,
Yeah.
there was a lot of investors. There was
Yeah.
a lot of investors out there looking for things. And then the market was hot too for regular buyers too.
Yeah.
So it was hard to find something. Then I just kept on looking on the MLS, and
Yeah.
I then at that point I met more wholesalers and at meetups, and then I signed up for their lists and stuff, so they'll send me emails once in a while.
Nice.
Other investors, relationships.
Yeah.
But no, I went for a showing at Crystal, in the city of Crystal. So the strategy there was, my parents were renting, and that's this is something for people to take notes on, because it's really good. So you can partner you can partner with family members too. You can get very creative. My parents were living with my sister at that point. They needed a place to stay, and they really need a place to stay, but hey, I talked to them. He's like, why don't we partner, buy another fourplex? You'll live in one of the apartments, and then more likely the other 3 units are gonna pay for the entire mortgage, and you guys will live for free. The deal was like they'll live there for free,
Yeah.
and then once they're set, because their plan was always to go back to Mexico. We'll just rent that unit where they live, and then we can cash flow, and then we can, in Mexico is pretty. The money exchange is pretty high, so $200, $300 will go a long ways.
Yeah.
A month. So it's, where was that cash flow at? So like then you can involve your family to do this type of transactions, and then it's a win-win, right? A win-win situation. So that was a strategy. Anyways, we didn't use it because my parents ended up moving to Mexico.
Okay.
So
Too soon.
Too soon, yeah. But in one of those showings, I went. There was a fourplex in Crystal for $535. The rates were still low, so I didn't. So when the rates are low, the price, it matters, but not a lot, because if you're gonna hold this property on an FHA loan for 30 years, the rate will never change, and if it cash flows, even if the market crashes, you're secure. You're nothing will go up in your expenses, only your taxes and your utilities, but the payment stays pretty set. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm not gonna buy an asset this year. I'm not gonna buy real estate because the market is gonna tank. It's like, dude, hold it. Don't
If
sell.
the numbers work now.
Yeah, if the numbers work right now, just keep it. And 30 years from now, nobody that invested real estate 15, 20, 30 years ago regrets it. That's just it.
Exactly, because real estate just keeps going up. Like I always tell everyone, everybody was talking about the bubble 2020, 2021, beginning of 2022 too. And it's like, oh, but yeah, I shouldn't buy and blah, 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 because otherwise it's going to be 2008 again and all this stuff. And it's like, do you realize that most of the houses right now are even more expensive than in the mid-2000s when we had the last bubble?
Yeah.
And that is something that many people don't think about. It's like, yeah, it goes like this. It goes up and down, but then it never goes back down to where it was. Otherwise, we would still have houses being sold for $10,000.
Yeah, it always go up at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's going back to that fourplex in Crystal.
Yeah.
Another funny story, very odd story for you. We went and look at it. I told my realtor Alicia at the time. Shout out to Alicia.
Hey, Alicia.
Let's put an offer on it, because it made sense. The rates were still at 2.35, something like that, and it was 535 what they were asking. It was a good solid fourplex, and we did put an offer, but it was an open house. There was a couple investors there too, and then when we're outside in the main entrance, there's this old dude that walks towards us, me and Alicia, and he asked us if we were gonna put an offer on the fourplex, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, do you want to buy mine next door?
I remember you told me this.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And call it luck, whatever. I was there on the right time.
Yeah.
But like, you create your own luck, right? Because if I wasn't putting so many offers, if I wasn't going to look at properties, I would never be there, and he would never approach me, right?
Yeah.
So he came to us. The building was trashed. Broken windows, needed a new roof. There was water going into the basement. It was outdated, never been fixed. This place was never been fixed. Rents were like at $725 and $750 each unit. You don't find this anywhere.
No.
2-bedroom
Holy
units.
crap.
By the way.
2-bedroom units, like
No, that's
2012.
But you,
no.
Yeah.
But it gives you an idea of how bad this place was.
Really
right?
bad. Yeah.
So good bonds though, very solid.
Yeah.
So I put an offer on both. I get the fourplex that I was gonna attempt to buy with my parents. That offer got rejected. But Wally, the seller of the other fourplex, the old man that approached us, we closed in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Wow.
So again,
Nice.
what is this saying? When determination meets opportunity, it's
Yeah.
You were ready.
yeah.
He was ready to sell.
You manifested that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just checking.
So then we put under contract. Now, again, I know other investors at this point. I never done a flip in my life. This is gonna be the first major rehab I done. So I start calling all my friends. Hey, do you have a hard money guy? Hey, who do you use for hard money? Hard money. You want to explain what hard money is?
Yeah, so hard money, there are different types of loan out there. So hard money is the type of loan that it's asset-based, and it really depends on what you're going to buy. The interest rates are higher, but you pay interest only until you pay off the loan. And the loan matures in 1 year. So you have 12 payments before you have to pay it back.
All of it.
All of it,
Every
yes.
single penny they borrow you.
Exactly. But you can use that money to purchase, to rehab, and then you either sell it or refinance into another loan so you can pay them off.
Yeah, so this is what we call the BRRRR strategy. So you buy it, you rehab it, you rent it, you refinance it, and then you repeat the whole process again. It's basically how to buy something with no money, because at the end of the day you pull your money out, and this is exactly what I did with this property. So I call the hard money guy. He's like, yeah, we can close in a week if you want. I was like, no, I think there's some time, so let's do it in 2 weeks. And we closed and we started the project. So one of the challenges with this property was that it was full of tenants. All 4 units were rented. And I'm not an asshole by all means. I respect people's human rights, and housing is a human right. And that's one of the things I became an investor too, to provide housing for people. So I talked to them before, even before we closed. The sellers set up a meeting. We talked about what we were going to do, and I asked for volunteers. There was a couple people that volunteered to leave the place, and then they'll come back when the renovations were done. And for me, that was fine because I already had tenants lined up then, right? And they were flexible too. They were young, so they were flexible. I think one of them moved with their parents and stuff. So, that's what we did. We vacated 2 units, started the renovations in 2 units. When 2 units were done, the other 2 tenants, well, one of them moved into one of the units, the other one moved out. I think she moved with her partner or something. But, it worked out.
Yeah.
So basically, to recap a little bit, so you bought the property, then talked to the tenants. One of them moved back with their parents while you were renovating.
2 of them.
Two of them
moved out, yeah.
And then you kept the other 2 tenants, so you still had money coming in.
Yes.
Which is nice. So payments were being made by the tenants, I'm assuming, or maybe you were breaking even or very close.
No, I did get a lower rate on the hard money, and they so for the hard money, we missed this part. They lent me 90%. No, 85 or 90. I don't remember. It was close to 90% of the purchase price, which was pretty good. I had already saved again. I had savings, and that's how I came out with the 10% down payment. For the rehab, there's another strategy that the investors use. It's called a home equity line of credit. The home equity line of credit, I had already built a lot of equity in my home, and I used that equity to fund the renovations on the investment property. So I had a $90,000 home equity line of credit ready to be used at 2% interest.
Whoa.
Again,
Oh my
interests
God,
were
that's
so
good.
low. Yeah, interests
Yeah.
were so low. It was like the perfect storm.
Yeah. Everything worked out perfect.
Yeah, everything worked out. And at the end of the day, you do things right and you manifest it. Like you say, you have these positive vibes. If you think you know, everything's gonna work out. Then everything works out. Like, life is good.
Count your blessings
Yeah,
every day.
yeah. And again, all this, I didn't have a GC, so I was managing the contractors, which that was another challenge. Managing contractors it's another thing that investors deal with every day, and I think it's one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
Really.
For sure.
You know, talking to people again. Another book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It shows you all these things. How to understand people, how to solve problems, how to manage people, right? How to talk to people. This is a little off topic, but even that book improved my relationship with my wife a lot. So it's just the power of just knowledge and self-improvement, right?
Yeah.
It's with my kids, you know, I probably wasn't the most patient, and I'm still working on it. But, you know, I was horrible at patience like last year, 2 years ago. You know? Getting better every day. So
Yeah, and that's the goal. Getting better every day.
Yeah.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, that's the best we can do is just try to be better.
yeah.
You know?
Yesterday was the day that we refinanced the property.
So you closed yesterday on it?
We closed yesterday on it.
This is fresh.
Yes. So
That's fancy.
excited because now I have a long-term mortgage on it. Rates are horrible right now, you know, but it still worked out because it's still, you know, the property still cash flows.
Good.
It's a brand new asset, so there's low maintenance on it. There's everything that we did with quality.
Yeah.
So there's I don't expect it to be a headache. You know, it's gonna
and
run
it's
by
like
itself.
do it now so that you don't have to worry about it later.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like that's what you did.
Yeah, and you had the opportunity. You had the tenants out. You were able to touch every single square inch of those units. So that's what you did. If you can go about the renovations and talk a little bit about that for that deal, what did you do to each unit and everything in
So
the house?
each unit's got a brand new kitchen, brand new bathroom. Everything is new tile. You know, it's got granite. You know, backsplash. So these are really
you did
really
a good
nice.
job. I saw.
Yeah, they're really nice units. That's why the rents, even the rents are not high. We put them $1,300 in the market.
Yeah.
And they rent super fast too.
Yeah.
So,
You're being very nice to people.
Yeah, 1,300. I told you they should be 14 or more actually.
yeah, well, you know, it works out at 1,300.
Yeah.
And then the tenants pay their own utilities too. So like that's another thing that I don't have to worry about.
Yeah.
Just one less expense that I have to not worry about.
Yeah.
And again, that's just my buying criteria. I have not. I don't know. It doesn't attract me buying a multifamily unit that you have to pay for gas and electricity.
Yeah.
But that's just me personally. There's tons of investors out there that pay for it. They just probably put it on the rent or.
Well, in a lot of cities, it's actually required for it to be to multifamily that they do have separate electric panels and
the meters.
meters.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess when you buy a huge building, now we're talking about the real experts, right? Guys buying 100-unit plus buildings. You know, now it's hard to put a furnace in each unit, so they do have boilers and chillers. So now, you know, there's other methods, the ROBS method, to charge the tenants and stuff. But then you have to deal with more things, and some tenants are like, why do I have to pay the gas bill here? What that place
It gets
over there?
complicated. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, if everyone has their own bill, they receive it in their mail or email or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They take care of it, and they're at the same time that helps you because if you're paying for water, for example.
I do pay for water.
Oh, you do pay for water?
Yeah, water and garbage is one of the things that I do pay. But I rather not pay for the gas and electricity because every tenant is different.
Exactly.
You know, some tenants run their furnace with the windows open, for instance. You know,
it drives me
Yeah,
crazy.
we did that with the air conditioning with the windows open. It's like, why?
and then what do?
Yeah.
You can't tell them not to do it. But if they pay for their own utilities, then they're more
less
Careful,
likely to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We always worried about with our tenants that they were going to break the AC unit because it was the middle of summer, 90 degrees outside, and they would keep their door wide open with their AC unit on. We're like, what? It's going to work so hard.
Yeah, it's
So it's an opportunity too to try to like educate tenants too with that type of thing, Because I think a lot of people, they don't know.
Yeah, they probably just don't know. It's
Yeah.
not that they want to be rude towards their landlord, right?
Yeah,
It's just like,
they don't know.
Well, exactly. And you work in fixing
That's my,
HVAC.
yeah, that's my
Yeah.
field. So.
You know,
so,
yeah.
You know. It,
So I can just put my other hat on and say, okay, HVAC, landlord.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hey, don't do that. You're going to harm the HVAC system,
Yeah.
landlord.
Yeah, totally. That's really good to have that, because then you can also like fix up your.
I do my own maintenance. I
Yeah.
fix my own stuff, which is probably a great reliever in
Yeah,
money
'cause
wise.
Those are like big spendy things usually when you're trying to get those AC
Yeah.
and furnace fixed. Like,
yeah, we had issues with
Yeah.
the furnace in our duplex in
You should've called me.
Minneapolis,
Should've
and
called me.
we didn't know you back then.
yeah.
I only-
every time we will call you now, 100%.
Oh, yeah.
For the record, I only help friends and family. I don't do this for a business.
We will pay you. We don't. Yeah.
In fact, it's not that I hate my job,
Mm-hmm.
but knowing what I know now, it's not what I want to do.
No.
It doesn't. I'm not
Yeah.
passionate about it. It's
Yeah.
just knowing that I have to go out and trade my time for money
Yeah.
at a rate that I think I'm worth $200 an hour.
Yeah.
No longer $20 an hour or $30 an hour. So like, it drives me nuts that I have to go somebody and then, then charge them $200 and then they think it's too expensive, and then it's like
Yeah.
I don't like dealing with that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's why I only help friends and family.
Yeah.
And I gladly do it. It's because I know I'm helping out a friend, not
Yeah.
because of the money or anything like that. If it's about money, I'll charge you thousands.
Yeah, right? So about that job, like, what is your goal? So you have 2 fourplexes right now.
Yes.
Talk about your goals going forward. Like, how many more buildings do you want to acquire? And then when do you want to quit your 9-to-5 job?
So the goals are huge. I do want to start buying more multifamily, but I want to graduate into 10-unit buildings.
Yeah.
20-unit buildings, 30-unit buildings, everything at its own time, right? It's gonna happen, but I you know what?
To do
Yeah,
step by step.
And I honestly, I'm gonna say it, and I'm not ashamed of saying it. I'm not. The knowledge is not there. It's not.
Yeah.
I haven't taken a course on syndicate deals. I haven't researched enough to go out and try to do something like that, or raise money, that much money. I can raise money, but probably I'm not saying that I couldn't. I'm just saying it's not my time yet. It will eventually happen.
Yeah.
But my goal is just to transition full time into real estate, and that's probably gonna happen next year. So probably the year after.
2023, 2024, 2020.
2023.
2023.
Yeah, mark my words.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Nice.
Okay, so how are you going to do that?
Well, one of the things that I didn't talk about, but we have not rented one unit on the quad in Crystal. And the reason is because we're gonna furnish it and we're gonna try the short-term rental market. If everything works out the way we want it to work out, it's gonna cash flow, I don't know, a couple $1,000.
Just that unit?
Just that unit, yeah.
Dang.
So
That's good.
Well,
Yeah.
so here's the thing. One of my tenants, it's a nurse practitioner and a travel nurse. And she asked me a couple times if I could rent it to a friend of hers, a couple of friends that they're nurses too. And we have a hospital really close by too. So that's what I'm saying. If everything works out, because
That's your target.
Yeah, that's my
traveling
target.
nurses, yeah.
So then it will be way more easier for me to just leave my W-2 job, because then I have that safety net. My kids are fine. The income is still coming.
Yeah.
And now I get to do what I love.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you get to dedicate more time to it to create even more wealth for you and your family.
Yeah.
And it's about taking those steps to build that first, and then you do the jump.
Yes. Definitely that I crave for that time that I would love to take my kids to school, for instance. I don't even have time to take them to the bus.
Yeah.
It's like my wife or my mother-in-law does that. It's like, those little things that really count, and then they really drive you to hit your targets and your goals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your why is how we call it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely your why then. For sure. That's our why too.
So and if the short-term rental markets market works that well, then we'll probably try it again. And
Yeah, or you could do more than one unit
More than one
eventually.
unit, yeah.
Yeah, maybe another
So-
tenant moves out, and you're like,
maybe
well,
yeah.
I have
Yeah.
90% occupancy rate on this one. Let's go with the other one, and it's
Yeah.
more money.
I've heard that. So we were actually thinking in that area of doing a short-term rental as well, because I've heard that area is really good, just for short-term for the traveling nurses.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many hospitals close to there.
There
you
is
know?
so many hospitals, and the city is very laid back. There's no many restrictions with, like Minneapolis, right? It's hard to have that
Yeah.
business there, but there's
Yeah.
ways around it always too. So
I'll be interested to hear how that goes. So keep us updated.
yeah,
Absolutely.
we do a second.
Yeah, let's do.
podcast, right?
Yep.
Mhm. You're gonna
Yeah.
be a recurrent guest here.
Yeah,
We
Miguel's
don't
gonna be a
mind.
reoccurring guest.
Yeah.
Guys. Like, yeah. We're
Thank you
excited.
guys. I really enjoy doing this. One of the goals I have is to reach out more Latinos, empower them, and this is not hard. And if
Yeah.
I can do it, anybody can do it. They say that 95% of millionaires are self-made, so it is true. And it's just about the mindset. If you think about it, if you think that it's possible, then you'll do it.
Yeah.
That's just it.
Exactly.
So if I can help more, I want to help anybody, but
Yeah.
because I'm Spanish and I know our background is like, when we come here, we come to work.
Yes.
We come to work and work hard,
Yeah.
and that's how my dad trained me to work. Ever since I was 10 years old, I got my first job when I was 12. You know, I was a mechanic's helper. A chalan, we call it. And my dad one day came to the house like, Miguel, I have a job for you. I was still in middle school, and I was like, okay, well, let's do it. I'm excited, right? And I didn't like that job very much. But I found my next job.
Yeah.
I found another. I was helping a guy paint houses, and then my dad got me another job after that, working at a burrito stand.
Was that in Mexico?
This was in Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah, I came here when I was 15.
Okay.
So, but I've been working because again, so I was born here,
Yeah.
but my dad knew that me and my sister, since we were born here, we were gonna come back eventually
Yeah.
because the land of opportunity, right? It's
Yeah.
everybody wants to come here, and that's what I told my dad. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
when can I go? Everybody seems to want to go there. Can I go? And when I was 15, my dad said, well, if you want, go for the summer and go test it out. And one of my cousins enrolled me in school.
Yeah.
And we liked it. We stayed.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, my first job here in the U.S. was a dishwasher. I was 16. Nobody wanted to hire me. And I went to this Mexican restaurant, and I asked the guy for a job, and I think he felt bad for me. He was like, yeah, well, you can help around here with dishes and stuff. He was paying me $7.25 an hour. I took the job.
Yeah.
And then a month later, I quit because I went to do roofing, more money, right?
yeah.
So I did the entire summer, and I saved enough money to pay for my expenses for 6 months. So I didn't work
Nice.
for the next 6 months, and then I got a job at Taco Bell. That was embarrassing. From
Yeah.
making $100, $150 a day to making $775. That was stressful.
Yeah.
But again, that was my mindset.
Yeah.
Then it's like, I gotta work to make money. I gotta work hard, and that's okay. We still have to work hard, but we forget that there's other routes like investing or work smart, right?
It's
Do
all
both.
about-
Yeah.
Do both.
I remember one of the things that her dad told me when I first got to the U.S. too was like, you have to learn how to work smart, not hard. Like, if you do both, you're gonna be successful. And I took that, and I'm like, what do you mean by that? So I started like trying to
Is there
get
another way?
into
Oh.
exactly. So and it's very interesting because we have a similar story. You were born here, but it's like you're an immigrant anyways.
Yeah,
'cause
no, I consider
lived
myself
there.
an immigrant. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's funny because we have the same mindset, the same upbringing. Without my parents being here, of course, I came here because of her, but and I came here as an adult already. But it's the same thing. It's like work hard and all this stuff that you learn. My dad was a contractor in Buenos Aires, and I hated working with him. Little did I know that, 10, 15 years later, I was going to be working on my own houses and
managing your own crews and stuff.
Exactly. So,
it's funny.
it is kind of funny how life prepares you. So we're used to trading our time for money, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you can be a really high earner, but it like Rich Dad Poor Dad says, like, circling back to the beginning of our conversation, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you keep that makes you wealthy. Because you can make $1 million a year, but if you spend $999 a year, where's that money going? What are you doing with that money? You're working yourself to death, just like any person making $7 an hour.
Yeah.
And you're still worried about that next paycheck. Mm-hmm. So, like you said, even if you do it small, you have one rental that helps you, that builds a legacy, that helps you with taxes, that helps you develop more of your of the wealth for your family. It is just huge. It makes you succeed in a different way. Like I said, you don't need to do it full time, and with rentals specifically, you can hire a management company if you want. They could take care of leasing, they could take care of managing, they could take care of the maintenance too. And then you just answer the phone being like, yep, I accept that charge, basically. And it's very easy to get into it if you have the right mindset and the resources at your disposal, which, it's all about who you know, like we always say. And if you build your network, that's going to be your net worth more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. That's a good one to wrap it off. Network equals
your net worth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also wanted to say too, because you said you want to help the Latino community, and that's something we want to do too, because I think that Hispanics, they come here and they see the opportunity in the United States, and a lot of people in our age group, they don't understand how much opportunity there is in this country still. Mm-hmm. And I think that Hispanics see that, and we just need to help them, point them in the right direction, and help them see, and there's just so much opportunity in that community to help those people coming
mm-hmm.
here who already know that there's opportunity here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just twist it a little bit, and it's like, okay, yeah, you can work the whole summer in roofing, for example, you did that.
Yeah.
But then what if you use the winter to put that money to work?
Yeah.
But
it's just little simple things that, things that we as Hispanics, I have a lot of friends that don't own homes. They rent, and they've been renting for 20 years, 25 years. It's crazy. It's like you could have paid a house off already. But
mm-hmm.
There's things that they don't know that they just don't.
Yeah, we've had conversations with a lot of people, and they just
mm-hmm.
don't know they could even buy a home. They have all this money saved. I'm like, we have lenders, we can help you.
And then and then the resources that a good investor, realtor friendly, can bring. Because not all realtors are the same too, right?
No.
There's other ways, other opportunities and strategies that you can do to buy a house that not necessarily fits the criteria with
mm-hmm.
traditional banks, right? So all these things that, again, people don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that it's only Hispanics. It's like, no, it's like Americans and
totally.
And realtors and teachers and,
mm-hmm.
everybody speaks their mind, and that's okay. But
Mm-hmm.
every person that thinks that they know everything at that point, they're lost.
So I hope that we can even team up and try to help that community more. And
maybe start with a podcast in Spanish.
Do a podcast in Spanish. So we'll do that. And
definitely, we need to start with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you said, there's a lot that people don't know. People don't know that you don't. It's something that's big with immigrants and in our community, especially. You don't even need documents to purchase a property here.
Oh, you need an LLC?
Yeah, exactly. You have an LLC, and there's a lot of people in our community that have LLCs, that have businesses.
And they pay their taxes, but they just don't know.
Exactly.
You don't know what you don't know. That's another point. I got that engraved on my head. You don't know what you don't know.
And it's a trippy saying, isn't it? You're like, oh, you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, of course you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
But you seriously don't know.
You don't know? There's lots of things. It's a never-ending cycle of learning.
Exactly. And you always have to be open-minded enough to learn new things all the time. Like it's like you said, if you think you know everything, you hit your ceiling, you're never gonna grow. And growth, wealth, knowledge, it's facing the fact that you don't know everything. You need experts, whether it is, I don't know, for example, we know the market in Minneapolis. We have a CPA because I understand tax, not to the level that or
Your CPA
accounting
does,
is.
yeah.
You know, sometimes you can figure it out. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I need an expert now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Pay your experts very well, and they're
You'll
gonna
save tons of money.
Yes. We got to the end of this podcast. It's going to be sad to stop talking. We could be
Especially for you.
here. Especially for me.
Anytime we talk about real estate, we can talk for hours.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
You have to be like, just stop.
Yes. Yeah. No, and we start and we don't stop. That's
Don't
the
get me
thing.
started.
Yeah.
We'll
So-
go on for another 30 minutes.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it and took some valuable information out of it. If you want to reach out to us with comments or questions, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and our website, milagrohomesre.com.